Boom. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Sales Ramble TV. We've been a little bit gone, but we're back before Christmas to deliver some pure value. And, anything you want to add to that, bro?
Yeah, no, man, I'm just really excited to be here. Like you said, I mean, we took a little break there. I went on vacation. We had to work some things out transitioning to offers, but yeah, man, we're super excited to be here. And topic today is a really, really good one. So be sure to stick all the way through. We got multiple points we're going to touch on today.
All right, all right. Just to let you know, bro, I've drank coffee, double the dose, so it's pretty much rolling time. So yeah, man, let's bring out the first topic. The first topic is about the vision. Tell us more about the vision, dude.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Let's just introduce the main point here. We're basically going
Oh
to talk
yeah, I
about
forgot about that.
no worries, man. No worries. The mindset of a high achiever, right? It's a very important topic, and it's one that's close to me. And yeah, like David said, man, the first main point is vision, right? And we kind of want to break this down into two separate points, right? Because I think it's important to have a mental vision and a physical vision, right? If you want, man, I'll take mental. You can take physical. Sound fair?
Um, I would like you to briefly go over those just so I get some context, and then
No
I'll add a
worries.
center too.
Absolutely, man. So basically, when I'm talking vision, right? So mentally, we got to mentally envision ourselves where we want to be, right? So um, high achievers, they know what they want, right? They see themselves in the position that they want to be in, whether it's income wise, whether it's opportunity wise, whether it's in a certain career position, because there's high achievers outside of sales, right? It's a
Yep.
thing. People climb up to be a CEO, right? You got to envision yourself as that CEO. And then the physical side, man. So when I think of physical vision, I think of like a vision board, right? Or like a 30, 60, 90 goals of like actionable items that you need to do to hit that vision, right? Does that make sense so far?
It does make sense. It does sound like the mental vision is a bit of, like, in other words, like affirmation, for example, or like you sit down, you meditate, you see some type of, like, you having a Lambo or whatever you want to be, or living Cali,
Mhm.
right? And am I following your descriptions?
Yeah,
Descriptive?
100%, man. So it's like the what's what I'm looking for here. I'm brain farting here, man.
That's what we're here for.
People do it, right? They not envision, they I can't think of the word here. Basically, you see yourself in that position.
Visualize.
Visualize. There you go, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You visualize yourself there, right? And it's just that, as you said, right? Sitting down, meditating, just centering yourself and seeing yourself where you want to be. Because, I mean, let's be honest, everything else that we're going to talk about today doesn't really happen without a vision, right?
Right.
There's
Right.
something that I say on my sales calls when I ask people what they're here for, and they're like, I just want to make more money. Like, yeah, that's cool, dude. Like, why do you want to make more money? Just to make more money. Okay, dude. Like, right. There's a target, right? Like, I use like a dart analogy, right? So there's a target, there's darts. Where the dart, I can't throw this dart if there's no target. So, like, other than money, why else are we here, right? I
Yep.
use that
Yep.
analogy here because you got to have a vision of where you want to go, or you're just spinning on a wheel like a hamster.
Yeah, I agree. But with the physical vision, though, having a vision board, it isn't that like a mental kind of a thing as well, right?
It is, yeah. But I guess when I think physical, I mean like physical object,
Right.
right? Like pulling it out of here and putting it on something physical.
I'm following. All right.
Make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It's
Okay.
like um because I used to print out papers, and I have these thoughts, and I put this, the investment plan. Here's the green thread on what I'm achieving first, and then the yellow ones and is the next stage, and red ones is the one that's like future pacing.
Exactly.
And you just get those thoughts on.
Exactly. It's that process of taking it from mental to physical, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It messes with my head a little bit because I still see it as somehow like a mental
It
thing
is.
all over. Yeah.
It is, right? It is. Maybe physical is not the right word. Maybe like tangible or something like that, right?
Tangible. That's a good word for it, dude.
There we
That's a
go.
good
Yeah,
word.
tangible, right? Because you gotta, at least personally, I think that if you just rely on this all the time, you're gonna miss certain pieces, right? You're gonna forget about an action, or you're gonna forget why you're doing the certain thing that you're doing to hit that vision, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's my perspective on it. I mean, do you have anything to add on, having a vision in order to be a high achiever?
No, I definitely agree. It's all started from like literally some people think it's woo woo stuff, like people don't believe in like the mental vision kind of thing, but with everything that I say, it you just got to prove it for yourself, right? If
Mhm.
someone comes from where you come from and they talk like you, they walk like you, they look like you, and they have done certain things that you have done before, or you want to achieve for yourself, it's just like a almost like a proof of concept for your own brain of, if he can do it, why shouldn't I? And usually our brain would go, no, you're not good enough. You can't do it. You can't do that. But like if we just approach our own brain with, why shouldn't I be able to be that top performer? This guy has done it. I can show you 5 other examples of someone like him that has done it, and we're from the exact same places. So it truly starts from like the vision, but also just having the personal development side of it, which you mentioned throughout this point.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I guess the just bridging into our next point here. I mean, the mindset of a high achiever. Uh, Honestly, man, what I could think of next after that was high achievers don't wait on others, right? And by that I mean, right, we move into action even when others aren't, right? So
Right.
like the example that I can think of is when I was working in corporate America, right? And you see all those people that are standing around in the break room that are just chit chatting, talking, having a good time, right? I was never that guy, right? I was taking action. I was moving the needle forward. I was doing what I had to get closer to my vision, right? I guess that goes in line with kind of not wasting time as well, right? But I just like really know that high achievers, we just don't wait on others.
Yeah. I've just bringing an example to this remote world. It applies the same. If you get off a sales team meeting and
Mhm.
they've specifically assigned you today to reach out to those, that came through organically, because those are the top priority. But
Yep.
let's say you've done that and it only took like 2 hours. Majority of people will go back to the sales team manager, pass wait for the next day, and then get a new assignment, because they'll think for themselves, well, today I've done the job, it's fine, right? But if you see other leads coming in through inbound, a lead book, or just the Facebook group that you have, just reach out. It doesn't hurt, just keep doing what generates revenue for the company, because that's what we are assigned for.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%, man. You hit it right on the head. Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's one of our other points. And I think it was further down my list today, but I think we should talk about it now.
Let's
High
do it.
achievers take action. Right. So what I want you to do, man, is just kind of give a brief story on maybe a time that you took action when others didn't and it led you to success. Do you have one?
I do.
Go
That,
for it.
that was one of my biggest months. That was one of my biggest months. So
Mhm.
earlier this year, I was still working at the tech company, SaaS and marketing all combined. And there was during a very hectic time where the office were based in Ukraine.
Okay.
And at that time, full scale war, all that good stuff, they
Yeah.
had to shut down the ads, right? To start, saving for the evacuation.
Yeah.
And shutting down ads. Obviously, we ran ads before, so we had like a database of 13,000 leads, and most closers would be entitled, like they think too much of themselves to just pick up the phone and call. and just wait for the leads or wait for the ads to get turned on again, right? The reason I had my biggest month was that I set my own deals as I harvested my follow-ups. It was just that. It wasn't anything new. People that came in from 18 months ago or 12 months ago, I got them back on the phone. I set new ones from our database that just touched an ad and didn't do any much action from there. Hit my biggest month. That's it.
I love it, man. We've got too many baby bird closers in this, right? They're just waiting for the drip feed, right? Waiting for the food to come, waiting for the leads to come, waiting for the money to come, right? Nah, man, I love that story. It's very important, right? It's very important to be willing to take action and go that extra mile, right? Because this goes back to point one, which is that vision, right?
Yeah.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, right? You're going to be very hard pressed to find somebody. Nobody hits their true vision by being average, right? I mean, you're not gonna be who you want to be without taking action.
Unless you set average goals.
Of course, right? Of course.
An
but
exception.
Then you're not a high achiever, right?
That's a good point.
Awesome, man. So yeah, I guess the third point here, man, for me at least, you know, the mindset of a high achiever is, I mean, we as high achievers, we have a very high standard of work, right? So what you just said is something that I wanted to bring up is we're willing to go the extra mile and do the things that average people aren't, right? And that's what separates a lot of, like you said, right? You had your best month, you were able to go that extra mile, right? You were able to put in the extra hours, right? There's a lot of closers out there that they make 5, 6, 7K and like, man, why am I not making 10K, 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 10K? And then you figure out they're taking like 4 calls a day and then they don't hit the CRM, right? I know that's a specific example and I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but I see it a lot. I talk to a lot of sales professionals and I'm like, yeah, so just walk me through your day to day. And like, well, you know, I wake up, I take some sales calls and then, you know, I wait for the next day. And I'm like, dude, what? You got like 4 hours of time. What are you doing? At least hit your pipeline, bro. Like what are you doing, man? What are you doing? But yeah, man, it's just high standards of work, right? I mean, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, and it's high standards of work when it comes to activity, but also like high standards of work when it comes to for yourself, like personally. Like for me, discipline has been like one of the biggest things, and it just comes from like discipline, high discipline for myself. It just directly has an impact to like the activity that I do, right?
Yeah.
So if it also aligns with integrity, right? Like I do what I say I'm gonna do. If I say that I'm going to hit this number of targets or call this amount of leads, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%, man. And I love that you brought that up because there's another one that I wanted to talk about. And it's, you know, high achievers, we put pressure on ourselves, right? So we put pressure on ourselves. And by that, I mean, we don't need deadlines, right? We don't need somebody to tell us you need to have this done by Friday. You need to hit this many dials or you need to close this many deals, right? We have our own self-imposed sense of urgency. Like we have it inside of going back to the vision, right? In order to hit this, I need to do this, this, and this. And more times than not, those, you know, deadlines are average, right? It's like, you know, when I was working on scaling with systems, the minimum dials was 50 a day. A lot of people would do like 50, right? 55, 60.
Yeah.
Now I would do, right, the, you know, 55 to 75, but I would have at least 200 individual contacts per day. I did a lot more texting than I did dialing, right? But you would see people that would do 50 dials and then they wouldn't work anymore, right? Because they hit that minimum because it's just a job, right? High achievers,
yeah,
we've got that internal sense of urgency of like, I need to get shit done or I'm not going to get to my goal.
Yeah, that's spot on, dude. Going back to the offer that I was back then, it wasn't necessarily the best environment because the sellers showed up and said, hey, I'm gonna do whatever I feel like doing. And for me, you know, that type of goal setting per day is like, all right, so if you feel like doing 7 calls, or you're doing 7 calls. If that's a yes, then it's not a good culture. So, there were days I would show up and say, hey, I'm gonna call the entire show, no show list, and I'm gonna hit everyone. Even if it were 200, 300 people, I'm hitting everyone before I hit my bed on the pillow. That was like the mindset I had, is out like the autodialer as well.
Mm-hmm.
So relaxing, just sitting there, boop, 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 go through everyone,
There's
book
all the
some
work
calls.
for you, bro.
It was nice.
You
And I was
but-
closing deals as well.
Exactly, man.
So
No,
that pressure is like is boosting like an individual forward.
it is, man. It's like we got, I don't know if you've ever seen those like coal powered trains where those guys are scooping the coal into the oven, right? We got one of those
in
inside.
movies.
Yeah, exactly. We got one of those little guys that's just scooping that coal into our internal fire, right? Keeping it big and keeping us driven, man. And there's just a couple more things that I want to talk about, and then we can kind of just talk about some stories or whatever, man. And the next one, and this one's really, really big for me, man. And I think it's one that just needs to be universal, right? High achievers manage their thoughts and emotions, right? So in the online sales world, I see a lot of imposter syndrome, see a lot of what ifs. I see a lot of people, right? Like I listen to calls, I review some calls, and on the first objection, people are like, oh, and then the closers freak out. They get red in the face, right? They get super nervous, or someone says that they can't do 10K and they're like, well, we got a 17 payment plan, right? Like we can break it down to $50 today, right? And it's that you got to be able to manage your own thoughts and emotions. And trust me, I know it is much easier said than done, right? It's like telling somebody who's sad, hey, have you tried not being sad? Oh yeah, thanks, dude. Let me just do that, right? Like I understand it's a lot easier said than done, but there are certain things that you have to do to just, I mean, you got to manage your thoughts and emotion, because you are your worst enemy, right? Like you are your worst enemy. It can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. For high achievers, it's a good thing because we have that urgency, that drive, right? For the other crowd, it's not a good thing because it's limiting beliefs. It's holding them back. Make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And it just goes way beyond it. Like it goes way beyond just hearing objections on sales calls. It can be, salespersons or salespeople going into like slumps that they call it. But we create slumps ourselves. And it comes from our emotions that we put on ourselves. Sometimes that's good for people. Sometimes that's bad. Sometimes that's a wake-up call. So it's just like on which spectrum and kind of like what personality you have that just gets you out of it. I know for me, whenever the numbers are kind of off or I'm not feeling myself the right way, I always go after data, right? So if there's like a certain change that I've done, or if like some type of marketing like metric is just off, it can be just the numbers almost like balancing it themselves. Like last week I've had a 50% close rate. This week is gonna go shit because I've a 20% closer. So it almost like balances itself out. It's kind of like the perspective I have on it.
No, definitely, man. And what's important is zooming out, right? People get so caught up in like a 5-day span. Like, I only closed one deal this week. Oh man, I'm a terrible closer. Should I be doing this? Da 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 da. It's like, well, what'd you do last month? Oh, I made 12K. Well, bro, like, zoom out, bro. Like, I understand. Trust me. Again, it's easier said than done, and these are very specific examples, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, man, it's about the average, right? There's gonna be outliers. Yeah, you might make fucking 10K in a month, right? You might close 70% in a week, right? Like my best week, I think I collected like $50,000 cash or something, right? But the week after that, I think it closed one deal, right? Because like you said, it's an average, right? There's gonna be spikes up, and you bet your ass there's gonna be spike down, right? But you gotta zoom out, and you gotta see it as a total picture.
Yeah, man. And I had that conversation with my coach as well. I mean, he with the company he worked with, they launched a new product. So he made that product, like the entire like customer base were interested in that specific product. So he made, and this is not cash collecting revenue, but he made commissions wise 14K in 7 days. But he still made 20K a month, which is his, average every single month.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he could have gone next week and said, "Oh, I've only made one sale. It's the end of the word for me. I'd probably say this is not the right career for me." But look at the entire month, dude. You freaking crushed it out of the park.
Exactly, man. We all got values and we all got pits, right? The high achievers are the ones that know that a slump isn't a slump, right? It's just there could be so many outside factors that are attributing to a slump that you can't even control, right? Marketing, lead flow, setters, right? There are so many things as a closer, even as a setter, right, that can impact performance that isn't in your control. And high performers understand that, but high performers also know when it is their fault, right? But yeah, man, we really only got one more topic here, and I saved the best for last. At least I think it's the best, right?
All right. Hit us with it.
High achievers are personal growth junkies, right? And it goes back to the own sense of urgency, right? High standards. Like I tried to think of something that kind of encapsulate everything that we just talked about, right? And we are personal growth junkies because as high achievers, especially in the sales world, we know that we are our own businesses, right? We know that, and this is bleak, so bear with me here, you're either growing or you're dying, right? And that's just truth. As a business, you're either growing or you're dying. There's positive growth, there's negative growth. So growing or dying, right? Like Amazon and Netflix, and I think Netflix kind of took a tank. Apple, like all these big companies are steady growing, and then you got the companies that are dying, right? And it's as online sales pros and high achievers, we know that at the end of the day, we are our own businesses. So we got to do everything that we can, and that's the other 6 points that we just talked about, to continue the growth and not do the regression.
Hit your point on. And with that topic, I've heard a specific word that's been thrown around. I probably gonna butcher the hell out of the word, but it's called Kaizen. And I believe it means you grow 1% every single day or you die, which is exactly to what you're mentioning with us running our own business. And with this, we can literally go in each and every angle we want, right? So yeah, it's the personal growth junkies. What a freaking name.
It's what we are, right, man? And it's why I don't know if you saw my recent post on Facebook. I mean, it's why I personally am continuing to do certain things, like I'm blocking out at least a half an hour every single day. I created the Calendly link to start taking, like, I'm calling it vibing with chance, right? Just to start taking some super informal, like, interviews with sales pros, different from what we do here, right? To just get to know them, to network, to figure out where they are in life, how we can add value to each other, right? I liked the ring vibing with chance, right? And it's one of those things that it's because I'm personal growth junkie, right? I know that there are people out there that can add value to me, and it's a two-way street. I want to give them value because I know they're going to give it back, right?
Yeah, dude. I saw a post. It's quite an old post by Jesse Itzler. And the way he networks, or the way he did network right after college, is he would, whenever he would, leave his kids out at school or sit in the car and wait for something, he would pick up his phone, write DMs or send emails, and, just tell his customer, prospects, friends, family that he's thinking about you. And that's pretty much like the networking. Hey, I'm thinking about you. In a world where people just ask for things, can you get me a job? Can you teach me how to do this? Can you, do you have a job available for me? That's the most common one. Instead, you're reaching out. Hey, I'm thinking about you. How freaking amazing is that? Like, it's just like the emotion of it. And I really connect that with vibing with chance, right? Because you're creating these connections of, hey, I'm seeing you. the blooming sales pros. I'm thinking about you. You're just getting started in this freaking world, and I know it's tough, but I've been there. I'm thinking about you. I want to help you out. Here's how you do it. Yeah.
Exactly, man. No, and it's crazy you brought that up because I literally just used that today. I had a prospect that I took a deposit on earlier in the week. He texted me a couple days ago and said, yeah, man, I'm having a really hard time coming up with the other 3K. Right. So today I did a little research on some good funding partners or some good funding opportunities. And I literally texted him, hey, man, thinking about you in our conversation, I think I found an option you would like. Gave him a ring. We decided that PayPal credit would be the best option for him because it's 0% APR for the first 6 months, and he's going to apply. Right. I sent him the link. The link. He's a trucker. He's on the road right now. He's going to apply and he's going to get back to me by tomorrow. Right. Because it was literally what you said. Like, man, I was thinking about you because we're here to serve these people. Right. Transaction away.
Yeah.
Putting aside, I don't give a shit about that. This what I provide in terms of, or what my company provides is going to change his life. And I told him, I was like, I'm on your team now, man. Right. Like, I'm going to get you rocking any way possible. And like, it was just it was crazy to hear in his voice. Especially he's in a bad spot in his life right now. I'm not going to dive into his personal details, but like, you could tell that nobody has said that in a while. Right. And it was that it grounded me and reminded me why we do what we do. And it was awesome. It's crazy you brought that up. It's full circle, man. It's full circle.
Yeah, full circle. I mean, it's happening to me. I people that I met like a year ago, 2 years ago, I still have a lot of them. Like even clients that I've enrolled, I still have them within my network, and I, sometimes just reach out, hey, I'm thinking about you. And it could be, me making my bucket list of countries I want to travel to, and I see Singapore and I think about 30 people. Hey, I'm thinking about you. I might go and travel. You want to meet up, right? I mean, that connection there. There's been one guy, and it's not bragging, not flexing, but I just super grateful that I've been able to help him out. But it was a connection of 2 years, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about you. And the guy, he launched a business. Investors were backing it, and they were looking for a marketing partner. I got your guy. I got it. I got your back. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll introduce you to this guy and we'll sort something out.
I love it, man. I love it. No, it's all about providing value, right? We gotta personal growth junkies, right? That's what it is, man.
Should we title this video Personal Growth Junkies?
I swear, man, full circle. Nah, man. It's been a great episode, man. I really don't have anything else to talk about. I mean, we can do what we do best and ramble, or I mean, I'll let you take it from here, man. Is there any topics that you wanted to bring up?
Oof, that's a lot of pressure. Not really, man. I like every single piece of this topic is something that I can really relate to. Obviously I've been sharing a lot of what I've been going through in my story, experiencing these things. Something that I didn't ask you before is I would love for you to share like a piece of your story, is upcoming to this place where you were needing to, I guess, like go that extra mile, just like how the ads turned off for me, and I just sat there and dialed the database, like what's been going on in your career, where just notice while other people are sitting around, I'm gonna do this because I know this is going to 3x 5x my income and my career moving forward.
Definitely, man. Great question. Very first thing that comes to mind is my entry into this world, right? So I'm not sure if I've told this story yet. But basically I was working a 9-to-5, similar to a lot of people that are probably going to watch us and a lot of people that we talk to on a daily basis, David. And I had to make a decision, right? Do I want to keep moving up the corporate ladder and get a gushy 6-figure job and, maybe retire when I'm 60 years old with a couple million in the bank? Or do I want to take a bet on myself, take action, right? High achievers take action, right? Take action on who I want to become, who I envision myself being, right? Again, vision, mental, physical, right? And I ended up quitting my 9-to-5 with $3,000 to my name after I paid JD, right? You see him, shout out there. with $3,000 in my name. I had 2 months. I had 2 months of living expenses, right? And I had to make this online sales game work, or I was either going to have to go back to a job or I was going to lose my car and my apartment, right? My ex-girlfriend at the time thought I was crazy. She thought we were going to lose our apartment and our car because she thought the online sales world was a scam, right? And I managed my thoughts and emotions. I didn't let her come in my head. I didn't let her limiting beliefs poison me. And I took a crazy fucking amount of action. And in my first month, I made $7,000. And in my second month, I made $11,000, right? And the rest has been history, right? Because there's one more point that I think we should have talked about, and I guess we can now too, is high achievers.
Bonus.
Exactly, but bonus point, we excel when our backs are against the wall, right? I think in order to become a high achiever, in order to maintain a high achiever, we got to put our backs against the wall every once in a while. I'm not saying every single day, right? That's fucking crazy. But every once in a while, right? You got to put your back against the wall, and that's what I did, man. While everybody else thought I was crazy, my mom, my dad, my sister, my ex-girlfriend, all my family were like, is this legit? Are you sure you're going to make money? They had all these limiting beliefs. I took action, right? I was like, I see people doing what I want to do, so I'm going to get it done, right? And it was a super enlightening experience. And yeah, it was stressful, man. I was really stressed out, but I trusted the process and I managed my emotions, right? I didn't let the stress get to me. And yeah, I made a bucket load of money for a 24-year-old who was making a few $1,000s a month in a corporate job, right? And yeah, man, it's a story that I'll always remember, and it's one that I'm probably going to tell my grandkids when I'm like an old fart, right? Just always chase your dreams, because it's true, man. It's true.
Man, if you just heard that and that doesn't inspire you to do whatever you want to do, honestly, I don't know what will. I really don't.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's you gotta do what you gotta do, right, man? We got to go that extra mile, right? We got to do the things that average people don't want to do if you want to be a high achiever. So people don't. That's cool.
Yeah, and let's just, you know, a plug-in. It's absolutely okay for someone to show up and say, hey, I want to make 5K a month, and that just pays for my, you know, living, and I'm able to travel and do whatever I want, right?
Absolutely.
Like you don't need to, hey, you know, become the top performer or a high caliber sales rep just because we're saying that, or it looks cool, or the title is cool. It's nothing, you know, like that. It's not at all. If like, I have more respect for someone that shows up and say, hey, you know, 5K a month is enough for me for, you know, take care of my parents, take care of myself, take care of my family, and I'm happy with that. I have so much respect for someone that shows up and say that.
No, I agree, man. 100%. You don't need flashy things, right? Like, I've got my dream car. That's cool, right? I love it. Don't get me wrong. I get in that thing. I start it up. It's like a spaceship, right? The screen turn on. I got all these fucking
Elon
lights.
Musk will call you tomorrow.
It's great, man. But some people aren't driven like that, man. It's exactly what you said. The world needs average people just as much as it needs high achievers, right? Because if the whole world was filled with high achievers, there wouldn't be a lot of the jobs there are, right? We wouldn't have a infrastructure, right? Now, those that do want to transition from average to the high achievers, that's what we're here for, right? We're helping that process. We're giving as much value as we can on these podcasts and outside sources to just kind of, you know, educate, enlighten, whatever you want to call it, on the process of how we did it, right? And it's been awesome, man. I think this is my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, man. I am still up here in the clouds. You know, there's nothing bringing me down. I'm on coffee at midnight. There's nothing bringing me down. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Woo, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Yeah, just to leave it off, like a little bit of an update that me and Chance is working on. We are going to launch an offer helping low performing sales rep, you know, earn that high performing position where you can make the money you want to make and, you know, live the life you want to live. Because what makes like what really fires me up more than just helping people make more money, or just help them reach the financial like stability, is like lifestyle. It's lifestyle, like you being true to yourself, you living the life you want. Instead of just being in the office all day, you are able to sit at the beach and close deals, if you would like that, of course. Anything you want to add to that?
No, man, I'm in the same boat. I love it, man. I'm addicted to the transition, right? Something that I got caught up in was the grind, right? Taking more
Yeah.
sales calls just to make more money, right? I've dialed it back. We're building this. I'm in the process of learning another skill set, and I've opened my calendar up for calls, and I mean, it's just kind of like this transition period where I'm excited to start coaching people, man. I'm excited to start, kind of tag teaming the development and watching people go from average to high achievers, right? Because that's what gets me out of bed, right? That's what fires me up, and I know you're the exact same way, and I'm super excited to launch this thing with you, brother.
Nice, man. That's mic drop. That's it for the second episode of Sales Ramble TV. Stick around, get updated, and we'll still provide you with value or value bombs. I'm not sure if that will be flagged or not, but let's freaking go.
Hey, man, I cursed 100 times. We should be good.
All right.